Your feet start tingling at night. Your hands feel numb without warning. Sometimes there's a burning sensation, sometimes a sharp, stabbing pain. Sometimes it feels like tiny electric shocks running through your legs or fingers, and no one seems to give you a clear answer why it's happening. Now imagine this. What if the real cause isn't just aging, not just wear and tear, not something you have to simply live with, but something you are being exposed to every single day without even realizing it? And what if this one hidden factor is slowly damaging your nerves, quietly, silently, long before the symptoms even begin? This is not just about managing pain. This is about understanding what's actually happening inside your body, and more importantly, how to stop it before it gets worse. Because once nerve damage crosses a certain point, recovery becomes extremely difficult. But before that point, there is still time to act. I want you to think about your body in a slightly different way today. Your nerves are not wires. They are living, delicate tissue. They depend on oxygen, nutrients, and a stable internal environment to function properly. And unlike your skin or muscles, nerves heal very slowly. That means damage doesn't show up immediately. It builds quietly in the background. By the time you feel tingling, numbness, or burning, the process has often been happening for years. This is why so many people feel confused. They say, "It just started suddenly." But the truth is, it didn't start suddenly. It simply reached the point where your body could no longer hide it. Now, here's the uncomfortable truth that most people never hear clearly. The biggest driver of nerve damage in many cases is not something rare or extreme. It's not exposure to industrial toxins. It's not even just alcohol. It's something far more common: chronic blood sugar spikes. And this is critical to understand. You do not need to have diabetes for this to affect you. You only need repeated spikes in your blood sugar throughout the day. Every time your blood sugar rises too quickly, your body releases insulin to control it. Over time, your cells can become less responsive, and sugar stays in your bloodstream longer than it should. When that happens, sugar begins to interact with your nerve tissue and the tiny blood vessels that feed those nerves. This creates inflammation. It creates oxidative stress, and it slowly damages the protective layer around your nerves. At first, you may feel nothing. Then maybe a slight tingling, then numbness, then burning, then pain, and eventually problems with balance and coordination. One of the biggest myths people are told is that nerve problems are just part of getting older. But in many cases, that's not the full story. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been told your blood sugar is a little high, but not serious? Or maybe borderline, or pre-diabetic? That stage is where a lot of nerve damage actually begins. And the problem is, most people don't take it seriously because it doesn't sound urgent. But inside the body, the damage may already be starting. Now here's where it becomes even more important. Many people truly believe they are eating healthy, and that's exactly where the hidden danger lies. Because the biggest sources of blood sugar spikes are often foods that seem completely normal. Let's break it down in a simple way. The first major source is liquid sugar. Fruit juices, sweetened coffee drinks, energy drinks, and even healthy smoothies. These may sound harmless or even beneficial, but when you remove fiber and drink sugar in liquid form, it enters your bloodstream extremely fast. There is nothing to slow it down. That creates a sharp spike, and those spikes are one of the most aggressive stressors for your nerves. The second source is refined carbohydrates eaten on their own, things like white bread, cereals, crackers, rice, or pasta, especially when eaten without protein or healthy fat. These foods break down quickly into sugar, and when they're eaten alone, they cause rapid spikes in blood glucose. The third hidden factor is constant snacking. When you eat frequently throughout the day, your blood sugar never stabilizes. Your insulin stays elevated. Your body never gets a break, and your nerves remain in a constant state of stress. Nerves need stability. They need calm internal conditions. Without that, they remain inflamed. Now, there's another piece that many people overlook completely. Certain medications can quietly affect nerve health by reducing the absorption of key nutrients, especially vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 is essential for maintaining the protective covering around your nerves. Without it, nerves become more vulnerable, more sensitive, and more likely to misfire. This doesn't mean medications are bad or should be stopped, but it does mean awareness is important. Because sometimes the issue isn't just what you're eating, it's also what your body is no longer absorbing properly. Here's something very important to understand. Nerve damage is rarely caused by just one thing. It's usually a combination of factors: blood sugar instability, inflammation, nutrient deficiencies, reduced circulation. But among all of these, blood sugar spikes act like fuel on the fire. They accelerate everything. That's why controlling this one factor can make such a significant difference. Now, here comes the part most people expect to be complicated, but it's actually very simple. The goal is not perfection. The goal is stability. Your nerves don't need perfect numbers. They need consistency. Every sharp spike in blood sugar is like a small wave of stress hitting your nerves. Reduce the spikes, and you reduce the damage. One of the most powerful habits you can adopt is this: never eat carbohydrates on their own. Not fruit, not bread, not cereal. Always combine them with protein or healthy fats. Because when you do that, digestion slows down. Sugar enters the bloodstream more gradually, and your body handles it much more smoothly. The same food that causes damage when eaten alone can become far less harmful when eaten correctly. Another powerful step is removing liquid sugar from your daily routine. If you want fruit, eat it whole, in smaller portions, and ideally after a meal, not on an empty stomach. This simple change alone can dramatically reduce the stress placed on your nerves. Then comes nutrient support. Your body needs the right building blocks to maintain and protect nerve function. Vitamin B12 plays a central role. Magnesium supports nerve signaling. Other nutrients help reduce oxidative stress and support overall balance. But more is not always better. Taking excessive supplements without guidance can sometimes do more harm than good. Balance and awareness matter more than extremes. Another key factor is reducing inflammation. Highly processed foods, excess sugar, and poor dietary habits can keep your body in a constant state of inflammation. And when inflammation rises, nerve sensitivity increases. That's when mild discomfort can turn into intense burning or sharp pain. On the other hand, natural whole foods, healthy fats, and simple balanced meals help calm the system. And calmer systems mean calmer nerves. Movement also plays an important role. Not intense workouts, not exhausting routines, just simple, consistent movement. Even a short walk after meals can help regulate blood sugar and improve circulation. Better circulation means better oxygen delivery to nerve tissue, and that supports their function and resilience. At this point, it's important to understand something that many people find discouraging at first. Nerves heal slowly, very slowly. But stopping the damage, that can happen much faster. And that alone can change everything. Less pain, better sleep, improved balance, more confidence in your movement. This is not about chasing a miracle cure. It's about removing what's causing harm and giving your body the best possible environment to protect what remains. Because neuropathy is not just about discomfort. It affects independence. It affects mobility. It affects confidence in walking, standing, and living freely. And when it progresses too far, the risk of falls increases significantly. That's why early awareness is so powerful. Tingling is a signal. Numbness is a warning. Burning is a message. Your body is asking for change. And when you respond early, the outcome can be very different. Small changes done consistently can slow progression and protect your quality of life in a very real and meaningful way. The truth is simple. There is no magic solution, but there is also no reason to feel helpless. Because the moment you understand what's happening inside your body, you gain the power to respond in a smarter, more effective way. And that awareness alone can completely change the direction of your health journey. Your feet start tingling at night, almost like tiny pins pressing into your skin. Your hands may feel numb when you wake up, or you notice a strange burning sensation that seems to come and go without any clear reason. Sometimes it feels like a sharp, stabbing pain, other times like a weak electric current running through your legs or fingers. What makes it even more frustrating is that many people are told this is just part of aging, something normal, something you simply have to live with. But the truth is, your body rarely creates these signals without a reason. These sensations are not random. They are messages. Your nervous system is trying to tell you that something deeper is happening beneath the surface. Nerves are not just passive wires carrying signals back and forth. They are living, sensitive structures that depend on a constant supply of oxygen, nutrients, and a stable internal environment to function properly. When that environment is disturbed, even slightly, nerves begin to react. And because they are delicate, they often show signs of stress earlier than other parts of the body. One of the most important things to understand is that nerve damage does not happen overnight. It develops slowly, quietly, and often without noticeable symptoms in the beginning. Long before you feel tingling or numbness, your nerves may already be under stress. This is why so many people feel confused when symptoms appear. It feels sudden, but in reality, it has been building over time. Now, here's where things become more interesting and more concerning. Many people assume that serious nerve damage must come from something extreme, like exposure to harsh chemicals or a severe illness. But in many cases, the real cause is far more common and far less obvious. It's something people encounter in their daily routine without thinking twice about it. One of the most overlooked factors is the way blood sugar behaves inside the body, not just in people with diagnosed conditions, but in anyone who experiences frequent spikes throughout the day. Every time you eat foods that rapidly increase blood sugar, your body responds by releasing insulin to bring it back down. This is a natural process, but when it happens repeatedly, day after day, it can start to create imbalance. Over time, cells may become less responsive to insulin, causing sugar to remain in the bloodstream longer than it should. This prolonged exposure can affect many parts of the body, including the small blood vessels that nourish your nerves. When those tiny vessels are affected, the nerves receive less oxygen and fewer nutrients. Gradually, their ability to function properly begins to decline. At the same time, excess sugar in the bloodstream can contribute to oxidative stress. This is a condition where harmful molecules accumulate faster than the body can neutralize them. These molecules can interfere with normal cellular function and place additional strain on delicate tissues like nerves. Combined with inflammation, this creates an environment where nerves struggle to maintain their normal signaling. As this process continues, the first signs often appear in the longest nerves of the body, those that reach your feet and hands. That's why many people first notice symptoms in these areas. It might begin as a slight tingling sensation, something easy to ignore. Then it may progress to numbness, where sensation becomes dull or inconsistent. Eventually, it can turn into burning discomfort or sharp pain, especially at night when the body is at rest and more aware of internal signals. What makes this situation even more challenging is that the cause is often hidden inside habits that seem completely normal. Foods that are commonly consumed every day can contribute to repeated blood sugar spikes without being recognized as a problem. This is especially true when those foods are processed in a way that removes natural fiber, making them easier and faster for the body to convert into sugar. Another factor that plays a role is how often we eat. Frequent snacking or constant grazing throughout the day can keep blood sugar levels elevated for long periods. When the body does not have time to return to a stable baseline, The nervous system remains in a state of ongoing stress. Over time, this continuous exposure can weaken the resilience of nerve tissue. It's also important to consider the role of nutrients. Nerves require specific vitamins and minerals to maintain their structure and function. When the body does not receive enough of these nutrients, or when absorption is reduced due to other factors, nerves may become more vulnerable. This doesn't always happen suddenly. It can develop slowly, making it difficult to connect the cause with the symptoms. All of these elements, blood sugar fluctuations, oxidative stress, inflammation, and nutrient imbalance, can work together in a way that gradually affects nerve health. The body tries to adapt, tries to compensate, but over time, the strain becomes noticeable. That's when symptoms appear, and that's when many people start searching for answers. The key idea to remember here is that these symptoms are not random and they are not meaningless. They are signals that something in the body needs attention. When you begin to understand the underlying patterns, you start to see how everyday choices influence long-term health. Small, repeated habits can either support your system or slowly place it under pressure. By recognizing these patterns early, you create an opportunity to respond before the condition progresses further. Awareness becomes the first and most important step. Once you understand what your body is experiencing, you are in a much stronger position to make adjustments that support balance and protect your nervous system over time. Now that you understand what may be silently affecting your nerves, the next step is even more important: what you can actually do about it in a simple, realistic, and sustainable way. Because the truth is, most people expect complicated solutions. They think it requires extreme diets, expensive treatments, or drastic lifestyle changes. But in many cases, the most effective approach is built on small, consistent adjustments that stabilize the internal environment your nerves depend on. The first and most powerful shift is learning how to keep your blood sugar steady throughout the day. Not perfectly low, not aggressively controlled, but stable and predictable. Your nerves don't respond well to sudden highs and lows. They function best in a calm, balanced environment where they are not constantly exposed to spikes. Every sharp rise in blood sugar acts like a wave of stress on your system. Reducing those waves reduces the pressure placed on your nerves. One of the simplest ways to do this is by changing how you combine your foods. Instead of focusing only on what you eat, start paying attention to how you eat it. When carbohydrates are eaten alone, they are broken down quickly and enter the bloodstream rapidly. This leads to a fast spike in blood sugar. But when you pair those same carbohydrates with protein or healthy fats, digestion slows down. Sugar is released more gradually, giving your body time to process it without overwhelming your system. This means something as simple as adding eggs, yogurt, nuts, or healthy oils to a meal can completely change how your body responds. The goal is not to eliminate carbohydrates, but to balance them so your body can handle them more efficiently. This one habit alone can significantly reduce the stress placed on your nerves over time. Another important step is removing liquid forms of sugar from your routine. Drinks that contain sugar, even those that seem natural or healthy, can cause some of the fastest spikes in blood sugar. Because they lack fiber, they are absorbed almost instantly. This creates a sharp rise that your body has to quickly manage. Replacing these drinks with water or unsweetened options helps maintain a more stable internal environment. If you enjoy fruit, it's better to eat it in its whole form. Whole fruit contains fiber, which slows down the absorption of sugar and makes it easier for your body to process. It's also helpful to consume fruit after a meal rather than on an empty stomach. This simple timing adjustment can reduce sudden spikes and support more consistent energy levels throughout the day. Beyond food, your body also needs the right nutrients to support nerve health. Nerves rely on specific vitamins and minerals to maintain their structure and transmit signals effectively. When these nutrients are lacking, nerves can become more sensitive and less efficient. This doesn't mean you need to take large amounts of supplements, but it does mean being aware of your nutritional intake is important. Vitamin B12 is one of the key nutrients involved in nerve function. It helps maintain the protective layer around nerves, allowing signals to travel smoothly. Magnesium is another important mineral that supports normal nerve signaling and muscle function. When levels are low, it may contribute to increased sensitivity or discomfort. Other nutrients work together to support overall balance, helping the body manage stress and maintain proper cellular function. However, balance is essential. Taking too much of certain nutrients without proper guidance can create new issues. That's why it's always better to approach this with awareness rather than guesswork. Listening to your body and making gradual, informed changes tends to produce better long-term results than extreme approaches. Inflammation is another key factor that influences how your nerves feel. When inflammation is high, nerve endings become more sensitive, and discomfort can intensify. This is why reducing sources of internal stress is so important. Highly processed foods, excessive sugar, and poor dietary habits can all contribute to ongoing inflammation. On the other hand, simple whole foods help create a calmer internal environment. In addition to nutrition, movement plays a surprisingly powerful role. Many people believe they need intense exercise to improve their health, but when it comes to nerve support, gentle and consistent movement is often more effective. Activities like walking help improve circulation, which allows more oxygen and nutrients to reach nerve tissue. Even a short walk after meals can help regulate blood sugar and support better overall balance. Consistency matters more than intensity. Small actions repeated daily create lasting results. This applies not only to movement, but to every habit you build. Your body responds to patterns. When you create patterns that support stability, your internal systems begin to function more smoothly. It's also important to recognize that while nerve healing can be slow, preventing further damage is just as valuable. Many people focus only on reversing symptoms, but slowing or stopping progression can significantly improve quality of life. Less discomfort, better sleep, improved balance, and increased confidence in daily activities all make a meaningful difference. Another important mindset shift is understanding that you are not powerless in this process. Many people are told there is nothing they can do, and that belief can lead to inaction. But when you understand how daily habits influence your body, you begin to see that even small changes can alter the direction of your health. This is not about perfection. It's about awareness and consistency. It's about recognizing patterns and making adjustments that support your body rather than stress it. Over time, these adjustments create a more stable environment where your nerves are no longer under constant pressure. The body has an incredible ability to adapt when given the right conditions. By reducing stressors, supporting nutrition, and maintaining steady habits, you allow your system to function in a more balanced way. And when your internal environment improves, your symptoms often follow that direction. What matters most is not a single change, but the combination of many small, intentional choices. Each one contributes to a bigger picture of stability, resilience, and long-term well-being. In the end, what truly matters is not fear, confusion, or the idea that this is something you have to accept and live with. What matters is understanding, because once you understand what is happening inside your body, everything begins to change. The tingling, the numbness, the burning sensations, these are not random events. They are signals, warnings, messages that your body is trying to communicate before the damage goes too far. Nerve health is deeply connected to the environment you create inside your body every single day. The foods you choose, the way you combine them, how often you eat, how you manage stress, how you move, and how well you support your body with the nutrients it needs. All of these factors work together. They either create stability and protection, or they quietly increase stress and damage over time. The most important realization is that this process is often slow, but that also means you have time to respond. You have time to recognize patterns, to adjust habits, and to remove the hidden stressors that may be affecting your nerves. Even small changes, when done consistently, can shift your body in a better direction. Stabilizing blood sugar, reducing inflammation, supporting proper nutrition, and improving circulation are not complicated ideas, but they are powerful when applied daily. It's also important to be realistic and honest. Not every case of nerve damage can be fully reversed, especially if it has progressed for many years. But slowing down the progression, reducing discomfort, improving balance, and maintaining independence are all meaningful and achievable outcomes. And for many people, that alone can completely change their quality of life. The difference between worsening symptoms and stability often comes down to awareness and action. When you ignore the signals, the problem continues silently. But when you start listening, observing, and making small corrections, you give your body a chance to recover what it can and protect what remains. Your nerves are essential for everything you do, from walking and balancing to feeling and reacting. Protecting them means protecting your independence, your confidence, and your ability to live life on your own terms. And that protection does not come from one single solution, but from a series of daily choices that support your body instead of working against it. So take this as a turning point, not a warning to fear, but an opportunity to act with awareness, make smarter decisions, and give your body the support it has been asking for. Because the earlier you start protecting your nerves, the stronger your future will be.